Do we celebrate when we have high fever? High fever is a good thing. The body puts a great effort in creating high fever. Do you know why body does high fever? Because at high fever, the enzymes in the body, those are catalysts of energy, they work twice as fast. It's like you have double amount of enzymes. It's so beneficial. All the bacteria, the bad and pathogenic bacteria, is destroyed at high fever. Now when body has high fever, it says, hey, don't eat please. Eating will take so much more energy from me. And the body creates no eating condition, no appetite condition. It covers the tongue with the white coating that makes the food not tasty. Do you remember that? The nose is stuffed so you cannot smell the food. The eyelids are so heavy and so painful that you cannot see the food. The body wants you to close your eyes and rest. The tonsils are so enlarged that you cannot swallow the food. Do we cooperate with the body? Do we listen? When the body says, please don't eat anything, even an apple, here comes grandmother with the chicken soup. It's in America. In Russia, grandmother comes with the boiled milk with butter and honey in it. In Europe, they come with a hot wine or something. So in every country they have, I don't know what they come up with different countries. I think we could have a contest here and everybody will be telling what people treat their loved ones when they have high fever. They're usually very heavy, toxic stuff. So what the body reaction will be to that chicken soup? Thrown up? The body says, oh no, oh please. What if body doesn't have that spare energy to throw up? Then the complication will happen. The complications. Have you heard of complications when people have high fever? They say that happens because of high fever, the complications. Actually, complications happen because people eat when they have high fever. And they say high fever is so dangerous. You have to put it down, otherwise you could die. No. You cannot die from high fever. You can die if you don't cooperate with your body, if you do something opposite what your body wants. Now we don't listen to the body. For example, do you remember when you had high fever? You were feeling cold, hot, fluctuating, cold, hot. So you'll take off your covers, you put on the covers, you put. Do you remember that? You remember that? So your children feel the same way because the body, when it wants to regulate certain level of temperature, and it lets you know. It's very friendly. It says, I'm hot, uncover. Now I'm cold, I'm shivering, cover back. When we have children in bed, they say, Mom, I'm hot. They say, no, honey, you have to keep the covers on. We force them, and they develop seizures. Because they become too hot, body begins to try to get covers off. What's wrong with the covers? They just don't come, so body develops seizures. My son, when he was 1 year old, he once had seizures when he had high fever. And I called ambulance and they said, oh, this is a sign of meningitis. We're going to come and give him prednisolone shot. And I called my pediatrician, and she was a very old woman, 60 years. She was ready to go on retirement, and I was so lucky. She called me, she said, Victoria, do you have too many blankets on your son? I said, yeah, I have 3 thick blankets. She said, instantly put him in a lukewarm shower. Put him on your lap so he doesn't get scared of cold water. So I did, and his seizures stopped. When the ambulance came, they were so angry at me. They said, let's give him shot anyways, since we came. So what do we do when somebody has high fever? We treat him with aspirin, salicylic acid. You know, salicylic acid is a toxic poison. The witches in 15th century, they were using it to poison people to death. Salicylic acid. And you know how bad it is for your body, your precious body that is dedicated to you, devoted? So we treat it with aspirin. This aspirin stays in your body, almost impossible to get it out. It stays in your body for the rest of your life, and as a result of that, you cannot develop high fever anymore. Just remember, when you were 5 years old or 4 years old, you had very high, good quality fever. If you were treated with aspirin, since then you never had high fever anymore. You had low fever. Your body cannot go any further because it's like chains on your body's organs. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is it true that when you had high fever, you treated with aspirin, you cannot have high fever anymore? Do you remember that? Anybody? Right? Yes. The good news is that if you go on raw food, the aspirin will leave your body. And your body will become normal and you'll get your high fever back. Everybody in my family had high fever. It was wonderful. Because, you know why it was wonderful? Because when I was treated, when I had high fever when I was a child, it usually would take a week, sometimes longer. And then I would feel weak long time after that. They wouldn't even let me go to the gym. Now when we were on raw food diet and I had fever, it only lasted 6 hours. Because I was cooperating with the body. I stopped eating right away. I gave myself an enema. I stayed in bed. I took cold showers when I felt too hot or something. And within 6 hours, you know what happened? I felt better than before. The high fever only lasted as long as it needed to last. Can you guess what's my favorite animal? My favorite animal in the world is bacteria. I'm dedicated to research and support and whatever it takes, promotion of bacteria, because we totally misguided and misunderstanding what is this all about. Bacteria's job is to recycle on that planet, I think. Recycling. Bacteria can recycle something that none of us, none of you, none of me could recycle. It recycles dead living things back into the soil. Can any of you recycle dead mouse into the soil without bacteria? You can recycle plastic into plastic. I can recycle paper into paper. But nobody could recycle anything living, dead living thing into the soil, because that's bacteria's job. That's what it is. And it's very important because without bacteria we won't have any soil, and without soil we cannot live. We cannot live on that planet. Do you agree with that? Yeah. So it's very important to have soil. Why do we need soil? Because we grow things. We grow our food. Our most important food grows from the soil. Whoever created bacteria, the creator was genius and brilliant, because bacteria is small and large, or we could say smallest and largest at the same time. Isn't it amazing? Bacteria is smaller than any living cell, and it will get inside your body without causing any disturbance. And it doesn't even need a couple to multiply. And bacteria could multiply to any size instantly. Isn't it great? Doesn't matter if there will be 10 chickens or 1,000 of elephants, there will always be enough bacteria instantly. Or maybe the elephants will be waiting 7 days per elephant, and then those will be laying there untouched, not rotten, waiting when there will be enough bacteria. Have you heard of anything like that? There will be always plenty of bacteria. And then when the protein will be over, there will not be bacteria wandering around. They will go back in the soil and wait there patiently. Great. Another interesting thing I discovered, that bacteria can never destroy anything that is still alive. Bacteria is not interested into living things. Example, redwood trees. How long do they live? They live up to 3,000 years. Their roots are in the soil, covered with bacteria, unprotected, never rot, until the tree dies. 3,000 years. Some of those were planted before Jesus Christ was born. And bacteria doesn't dare to touch them. What does it tell us? That bacteria is not really interested in human flesh. How did it happen that we became so afraid of bacteria? I imagine that one day Louis Pasteur got for birthday a little telescope or something, microscope, and he was just playing with it thinking, what should I do with it? And then he figured out, I'm going to make some research. It was a long time ago. So he took some healthy tissue and some sick tissue, and he just looked in his microscope, and wow, he noticed that in the sick tissue there are some kind of rods and some hooks.